Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Our largest single-theme land expansion ever.
Now we want you to share with us our latest and greatest dream.
Matterhorn Matt presents Matterhorn Mondays.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 114 of Matterhorn Mondays, coming to you live, finger guns from the outpost. I'm your host, Matterhorn Matt.
And I'm your co-host, Alex the Historian.
And today, we got a great stream planned for you all. We're happy everybody's coming out to the live stream. Got a great podcast planned. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the topics we discuss. As you well know, links to all the Discords, Twitters, Instagrams. You guys know the deal. The Patreon's in the description down below. And if you'd like to be wished a happy birthday live on the stream, you can do so by submitting your name, your birthday, in the link below. Submit the Google Doc, and we'll wish you a happy birthday live on the show. And this week we have, oh my gosh, it's Vetter's birthday on the 19th, you guys. The legend Vetter from our Discord server. Happy birthday to Vetter. Not sure how old he is. Oh, the music didn't play on the stream. It played.
It played for us. Yeah.
I forgot to click the thing so it would play for you guys, but it played for us. So sorry about that, everybody. We're already off to a great start. Welcome everybody. Fire Fiend, and I'm here at the Jungle Cruise docks. Fire Fiend, are you watching this while you're in Disneyland? I cannot believe you're doing. They should hack one of the monitors that shows the wait times and put our stream on it. Wouldn't that be epic? Matterhorn Mondays in Disneyland, live in Disneyland. That'd be pretty cool. But anyways, yeah, like I said, birthday link in the description below. And before I forget, link is also in the, I can't talk, you guys. Link is also in the description for more information on our meetup coming up in December, happening Friday, December 6th at 1 p.m. in the lobby of the Grand Californian Hotel, alexthehistorian.com. Head over there for more information. We're going to be hanging out in the lobby of the Grand Californian. We're going to be talking with you guys just like the last two meetups we had. We had a really great turnout the past two meetups we had. After we finish talking, we'll probably go into the parks, get on some rides, spend the day together, have fun in Disneyland. It'll be a great time. I've really enjoyed the last two meetups we've done. And yeah, happy or hope to... What am I trying to say? We hope to see everybody watching today there at the meetup. I guess that's what... Anyways, if you'd like to voice your opinion on any of the topics we're talking about today, you can go ahead and call 575-386-5814. Leave a voicemail. We'll be listening to the voicemails throughout the episode. Or you can also text the number, but we do prefer you to leave voicemails. Just a preference, we like to hear your guys' voices. I don't like to read as well. If you text in your stuff, I have to read and then I embarrass myself like I always do, trying to read stuff. So it's much better if you call in so we can hear your voice, and then you can say it so I don't have to say it. It's just better all around for everybody, but yeah, I think that does it for this week's announcements. We do have our very special segment, though. Let me find the... Oh, my gosh. I can't remember where I put... Oh, Matt. It's time for Matt Snaps, you guys. The Matt Snaps theme. Here comes. Yeah. Drum roll.
A whole wide world of knowledge waits underneath the cap. It's once again time this week for Matterhorn Matt Snaps.
We're switching it up this week today, you guys. We got the key lime. What is this again? This is the kiwi strawberry Snapple. Wait, it's playing again! Wait, it's playing again! Why is it playing again? I forgot I have it set to loop. I'm sorry, everybody.
It did that last
It did that
week.
last week, too. Yeah, I forgot to change it. My gosh, I'll put that... Oh, gosh. I'll fix it for next week. That was really scary. But anyways, like I said...
I don't think there's ever been a Matterhorn Mondays where something hasn't gone wrong.
I think that's true. I'm trying to...
That's just kind of the staple of the show now.
Where is it? Where is it? There. It's... Oh, is it in frame? Snapple. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Perfect. Kiwi Strawberry Snapple, you guys. This is my first time joining the live stream. I love this mess. I'm so sorry, Justin. Well, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and pop this open. I kind of muffled that with my hand. I'm sorry, but we'll pour this in, and then we'll get into this week's news from the Peak. Wow, this is really light. This is the plastic bottles are lighter than the glass bottles. Let me tell you that, guys. It's so much lighter. I feel like I could lift 1,000. But anyways, I don't know what's going on.
We gotta keep you away from Oga's Cantina. When you
Oh, I already told you guys. I'm buying the most expensive drink and I'm drinking it all. Just kidding. I probably won't. I'll buy it, but I probably won't drink it all. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, it's time for this week's. Hey Matt, what was that number again? Which number, Fire Fiend? What number was I mentioning earlier today?
the phone number, the voice.
Oh, the phone number 575-386-5814. It should be in the description. I could be wrong. Excuse me, that was a burp, you guys. The technical difficulties reminds me of the Muppet Show. Guys, we are Muppets, in case you didn't know. Bob Chapek is actually right underneath the frame. He's controlling me, because I am a puppet. But anyways, yeah, the voicemail number should be in the description below. If you guys would like to leave a voicemail, all that jazz, you know the deal. But now let's go ahead and get into this week's news from the Peak.
We now present to you news from the Peak.
All right, for our first bit of news, we actually have 3 topics this week again, you guys. Yay for news from the Peak. 10 million people signed up for Disney Plus on launch day. That is a lot of people, you guys. And we're going to be getting more in-depth talking about Disney Plus later in the show for our first topic, but this is just something noteworthy. This is something news from the Peak worthy, you guys. 10 million people signed up for Disney Plus on launch day. That's more than Alex and I, you guys. That's like, what's that? 9,999,998 more people than us two. No, it'd be 9,999,998 people, right?
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Guys, math, you guys. I did it.
But you know what? I want to know. So that's just on launch day. I want to know how many people signed up before launch day.
Yeah.
Because I signed up before launch day. So I want to know how many people right now are signed up to Disney Plus. Let us know.
Yeah, I think I might have seen an article floating around a few months ago when the initial signups came up for Disney Plus to become part of the Founders Circle or whatever. I don't have those numbers in front of me, so if you guys know, feel free to comment down below, type in chat, or I guess you could call in. We say the link to the article in the voicemail, and I'll type it in Firefox over here. But for our second bit of news from the Peak, guys, it's finally happening. I spelled Did I spell Indiana wrong? No, the I just looks like an L. Indiana Jones Adventure to receive overhaul in 2020, you guys. It's finally happening, except just kidding. This refurb isn't necessarily what you'd expect, because according to the permit filed, Disneyland Cruise will only be replacing the plank bridge and its steel structure, as well as refurbishing the rock work. So this specific permit at least doesn't address some of the other changes that I feel like Indiana Jones needs. Like that one, do you guys know the room in the attraction where it's just black and then you just like hover there for like 3 or 4 seconds and then you take off again?
Bat room.
Is that what it is? It's supposed to be bats?
Well, you can hear them going around you.
But is it just supposed to be pitch black in there? Is that just how that scene is supposed to be?
It is, and that's because the budget for it was completely cut. Like, there was supposed to be projection effects in there, but they just decided to leave it black, and then they still had the soundtrack of the bats, whizzing around you, but it is considered the bat room, yeah.
Interesting. Well, hopefully in the future they address that, because I'm not a big fan of... It's kind of confusing, at least to me, when you just stop in a pitch black room and then I guess all you can hear are the bats. I didn't necessarily think it'd just be a room themed to make it seem like it's full of bats, but that could just be me. Anyways, I thought Alex was gonna have more to say about that, but anyways, moving on to our final bit of news from the peak. This is kind of big, you guys. I believe this happened just a few hours after we finished streaming last week. Tarzan's Treehouse closed on last Sunday due to a guest breaking a board on the rope bridge, you guys. Apparently, a guest was jumping on the bridge, trying to show his friends how strong the bridge is, and a plank snapped while he was doing that. And as you can see in the image here, this is where the snapped plank is. No injuries were reported, though, and the attraction reopened a few days later on the 13th of November with the board replaced. So that just goes to show you, I mean, I'm sure I've done it before as well, jumping, I mean, I'm sure not with like my full force, but, you know, just like bouncing up and down on the bridge just because, you know, it's a bridge and suspended in the air. I've done it. I'm guilty of it. I'm sure other people are, but you guys, safety comes first. Please don't jump on the bridge or the plank will break and you'll probably fall a few tens of feet and get gravely injured. Or your foot could get stuck in the board. You could cut up your foot. Isn't that like one of the scenes from the Indiana Jones movie where they are on that one long bridge? Is that from the second Indiana Jones?
That is from the second Indiana Jones, yes. And Indy cuts the rope that holds the bridge up, and the whole bridge collapses with them on it. So, pretty cool scene, actually.
It is that's a great movie, you guys. If you have not seen, I mean, I'm sure you all have seen the Indiana Jones movies, at least the first two. Great films. Someone said they sent a super chat in. I am looking for it. Oh wow, that's me talking. I missed it.
So I wanted to talk about this bridge real quick.
Okay.
So it's not just this rope bridge, but there's another rope bridge on Tom Sawyer Island. And let me tell you, the rope bridges in Disneyland, yes, they're strong enough to hold a lot of people, but they're not like impenetrable bridges, you guys. Like, they are made of wood and rope and some cable for strength, but ultimately they're just rope bridges. So like, it bothers me because I see so many people jump on these bridges, you know, because it's thrilling to them. Like, oh, and they think like nothing will happen, so that's why they jump on the bridges. And I'm like, no, one day those boards are gonna snap and you're gonna go right through it. And I never saw that happen, but I will say that like maybe a month or two ago, it was the last time I was on Tom Sawyer Island by myself. I was standing across from the rope bridge to get a good look at it, and this old lady and her like granddaughter, and I mean old lady, was crossing the rope bridge, okay? And behind her, this like Asian guy, I don't know if I don't think he spoke any English, so he might have been from like literally visiting from a foreign country. And he like ran up on the bridge and he thought it'd be funny to like jump on the bridge. And he is jumping with all his force, like just like going 3 to 4 feet in the air and landing back down on the bridge. The bridge is going like this with the old lady on it, like hanging on for dear life. And I'm like, and I started shouting. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Like, because that poor lady, you know, she can't even keep her balance. She couldn't keep her balance even before the guy got on the bridge. So I was like, hey, don't do that. That's not cool. You know, like, oh, I don't know why people do such dumb things at Disneyland. I don't get it.
Well, guys, that sounds like a completely epic time to me. What if I thought you were going to say like he jumped and like it launched her in the air into the water. That would have been pretty funny.
Oh, Matt.
I mean, it would be funny, but
a cartoon.
I mean, that's true, but anyways, that does it for this week's news from the peak. And yeah.
Now I'm laughing at the lady going like launching into the air thing.
That would be pretty funny. I mean, not for the lady, I'm sure, but if you were a bystander watching, you know, from I don't know, from Frontierland, and you see that happening, and she just gets launched into the air, and then she falls into the water. I hope she knows how to swim. What if she didn't know how to swim? That would not be epic, you guys. But anyways, moving on. That has been this week's news from the peak. And yeah, we do have I believe we have a brief Alex in the Parks this week. So I just kicked something that hurt really bad. Anyways, Mr. Alex, what do we have for this week's news from the peak? Or I'm not news from the peak. Alex in the Parks, you guys. Gosh, it's been a long day.
It's been a long life. Okay, so I don't have any footage for you guys. Like I said earlier, probably before the show officially began, I didn't have time to put together the video footage today. And in any case, it's very similar to what you're already watching on other YouTube channels anyway. So basically, just a quick rundown of what's going on at Disneyland. Most of the walls out front of Tomorrowland came down. Okay. Most of the walls around the front of Tomorrowland came down to reveal these new planters, which are basically just green lawns out front of it. And at the time, there was no railing around those. Oh yeah. Why do I always yawn? Okay, so I have like a medical condition or something. I'm yawning all the time. So I'll get it checked out someday. Anyway, so I don't know if Disney was experimenting to see like, hey, what if we don't use railing anymore? Will people still trample everything, or will they keep to the walkways? Or if it was just a case of, oh, we reshaped this whole planter. Now we have to order new railings, but they haven't come in yet. So we might as well just open the planter without the railings until we get them. So I don't know which of those two it was. But yeah. So anyway, I have a feeling, though, that those planters are just waiting to get their railings, and that's why the planters only have grass on them right now, is because Disney doesn't mind people walking on grass. But if they had planted a bunch of flowers and shrubs and things, people would trample those, and that's very expensive. So, yeah, we'll see how things go. But anyway, the new entrance looks rather open and neat looking and tidy looking. The concrete bunker, which housed the electronics and the air compressor for the Astro Orbiter, the bunker is still there, and it's hidden with they look like traditional Disneyland construction walls, but they are built a bit more tough and permanent. And those are surrounding that little building. And I don't know what Disney plans to do with the building. I don't think anybody really knows what's going to happen to that building. But I think that. Oh, God. Okay. So, in other news, no more props have appeared on top of the Adventureland entrance sign area. For a while, they were installing new props and stuff up there, lanterns and such. And nothing new has shown up since the last time I reported it. As for the staircase that they're installing out front of Space Mountain, that work is still going on. The tarps have come back up around it, so you can't see what's going on over there. So I couldn't film it even if I wanted to. And as for the Matterhorn, this is the stuff that I probably wish I had footage of for you, because they sealed up the hole finally on the Matterhorn. And they already installed the concrete, and they sculpted the concrete to look like the rock work. And I think at the moment the concrete is drying and waiting for its paint. What the heck? Why am I yawning so much? Anyway, so but the last thing I wanted to mention, unless there's something someone else thinks of that they want to ask me, but the last thing I want to mention is something I didn't get to take a picture of. Oh, it's on my Twitter in case Matt wants to find it. I took a picture of something in Tomorrowland, and I asked Twitter, everyone on Twitter, if they knew what it was. And nobody has answered because nobody knows. Now, there is a number of devices that have been installed on the edges of buildings and structures all over Tomorrowland, okay? Not just on a certain structure, just everywhere, okay? Oh, yeah, there's the image of it. It is small. I would say it's about like 6 inches by 4 inches, and it's about 4 to 5 inches tall. So it's like this almost square thing. There are no moving parts on it at all. I've really looked at these. There's no moving parts at all. And there seem to be at least 4 of them on every building in Tomorrowland, which means that we're talking like dozens upon dozens of these things all over Tomorrowland, but they're always on the edge of something. Some of them are even on lampposts, on the edge of the lamppost, with that little, like, that weird little puck at the end, always pointing down. I at first thought it had something to do with lasers and either for entertainment or for counting or keeping track of foot traffic. But like I said, there's no moving parts, and there doesn't seem to be any lenses or anything for a laser to point out of. It's just a solid piece of metal. And that's what made me think maybe it has something to do with motion tracking, or maybe like some kind of like there's a technology called LiDAR, which is like radar, but it's more focused and pointed. And anyway, the point is, I don't know what this is, and I know somebody that is a urban planner, and I thought, hey, if anybody knows, this guy would know. So I showed him the picture, and he says, I've never seen anything like that in my life. And I'm like, what is it? So if anybody has ever seen this, and believe me, I've done my research. So unless you, I don't know, if you don't know anything about it and just decided to voice it, you might not be right. But if somebody who does know about this stuff can answer this question, I'd love to hear it, because I want to know what that is and why it's there and why there are dozens of them in Tomorrowland, just everywhere. And yeah, and so also, they are not Wi-Fi transmitters, because actually just a few feet over from this, where this photograph was taken, was a Wi-Fi transmitter. So I know that's not a Wi-Fi transmitter. So yeah, I'm interested. I guess the point of this, the reason why I'm bringing this up, is I'm interested to see if it has anything to do with research and studying that might lead up to a Tomorrowland refurbishment. It could be for tracking people in the land to see where are they going, what are they doing, and how long are they there, you know, or where is the bottleneck of certain areas. And I don't know, maybe yeah. Anyway, that is it for Alex in the Parks.
Well, if you guys know, I did see this on Alex's Twitter, and I have no idea what it's for. And then again, I'm not much of a tech guy when it comes to like devices like this in like buildings and stuff. Anyways, yeah, if you guys know, comment down below, or you can tweet at us. Alex, I think Alex's Twitter is at AlexAHistorian, and mine is at MatterhornMatt. You guys know the drill.
I've asked cast members if they knew what that was. And let me tell you, none of the cast members I asked even knew those things were there.
Or did they? Bum, bum, bum.
Or did they?
I think this is on the People Mover track, correct? Someone was asking what building that's on.
Yeah, this particular one was on the People Mover track. The only reason why I took a picture of this one is because it was the one closest to my camera. So, but they are on every building, not just People Mover related buildings. They're on everything. They are on lampposts. They are on speaker boxes. They are on lighting rigs. They are on stages. They are on roof lines. They're everywhere. They are everywhere.
And it's just in Tomorrowland, not in any other lands in the park?
Yeah. just in Tomorrowland. I mean,
Interesting.
you know the People Mover platform at the center of Tomorrowland?
Mhm.
I walked all the way around it to count how many were on there. There were 6 on there. 6 just on that building alone. Now, I went around to the Carousel Theater. There were also about, I don't remember if it was 5 or 6, but it was about 5 or 6. Yeah, there were at least 3 on the Star Tours building and another 3 on the Astro Blasters building. There were at least 8 on the People Mover track, this is one of the ones I took a picture of. They're just everywhere. Everywhere you can think of that has an edge that is, perched on the edge is where they are. And yeah, I don't know.
Guys, we have a Disneyland mystery here happening live in front of our eyes, you guys. Maybe next time Alex goes to Disneyland, he can film all of them. And maybe if Alex wants to do that, if he wants to.
Do what?
If you can, next time you go back, you can film all the locations of them.
I wanted to, but the thing is my camera has no zoom on it, so I wouldn't be able. They look so small on the screen. Because they in real life they're about this big, and they're way up on the roof lines, so my camera can't see that easily. So I just used my phone to zoom in and take a very poor picture of it. I mean, heck, the picture looks so bad you'd almost think that could be a Sasquatch or something roaming through the woods. I mean, I just don't know.
Well, if you guys do know, don't worry, guys. I did a reverse image search on Google. And I now know that it is actually a battleship turret. Thank you, Sam, for solving this mystery. But anyways, if you guys know, you can tweet at us at AlexAHistorian. Link is in the description to the Twitter, so you guys know the deal. And before we get into our main topics, I'd like to showcase this image from at Touring Plans on Twitter. If you guys thought Tomorrowland couldn't get any worse, I guess staying on the same topic as Tomorrowland, if you guys thought Tomorrowland couldn't get any worse, they've replaced Path of the Jedi with a preview for High School Musical, the series, which is a show currently running on Disney+. And yeah, you guys, this is what they're using that Tomorrowland Theater for, which is pretty epic, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't seen the show yet, so I don't know if it's any good. But if you guys have seen the show or not, please let me know if it's worthy to have a preview in Tomorrowland, because this is definitely futuristic based. If I'm being completely honest, yeah. Anyways, moving on. I just feel like we have to touch on that. Yeah, moving on. For our main topics today, we only have 2 main topics today, you guys. First, we're gonna be doing you could call it a Disney Plus review. We're not going to be necessarily reviewing all the shows on Disney Plus. We're going to be, just talking about the service as a whole, what it brings to the table, what it lacks, stuff like that. And then we're going to be moving on to our final topic, which is all these new YouTube changes that are being put into effect next year, which every content creator on the platform has been up in arms about. And I'm sure you guys have been hearing some things about it on Twitter, or even, I don't know, on Facebook and stuff, but you may or may not know what's going on. We're going to be providing context for you guys, our thoughts on it. I'm very excited to get into that as well. But first, let's go ahead and talk about Disney Plus, because this past week, Disney Plus officially launched on November 12th. And we wanted to give you guys our first impressions of sorts of the service. Now, like I mentioned before, 10 million people signed up for Disney Plus on launch day, and users spent 1.3 million hours streaming content in the first 24 hours. So if that doesn't scream success to you, I don't know what will. 1.3 million hours for the first 24 hours. If you guys can do math, how much would that be per person for the 10 million people who signed up on the first day? 1.3 million hours, 10 million people spent watching.
Well, again, plus you have to split that amongst the people that were already signed.
Yeah, again, that as well. If you guys would like to do that math, I most certainly will not, because I suck at math. Please feel free to comment in the chat. I'd love to know. So yeah, I'd like to first touch on the Imagineering Story series on Disney Plus, which is the thing I was most excited to talk about, to watch. And Alex, I believe Alex has seen the first 2 episodes of the Imagineering story. Have you not?
I have. As a matter of fact, that show is the whole reason that won me over with Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I wanted to get Disney Plus because I knew that show was going to be on there.
That was pretty much the selling point for me as well. I mean, I'm sure most of us own a lot of the classic Disney animated films on DVD, or, it's not very hard to find copies of them online, so I feel like that necessarily, at least for me and Alex, for people like us who are big fans of Disney history, that wasn't necessarily a big selling point.
I have a collection of Disney movies.
Oh my gosh, Alex, your webcam turned off. Oh wait, it's flickering. There it is. No, it's on now. It's on now.
Wait, did it go?
No, it's still showing now.
Well, okay, whatever. All right. So is it okay? Can you see me though?
Yeah.
Now? Okay, cool. Okay, so I have a collection of Disney movies, and that is, I figure I would. What am I trying to say? I didn't think I would need Disney Plus, but yeah, I'm certainly enjoying it. But yeah, we'll continue on with what Matt was saying.
What was I saying before Alex's camera cut off? I was saying, oh yeah, like I was saying, I feel like the selling point, at least for people like us, wasn't necessarily for the films on it. I mean, sure, you could get things like the Davy Crockett series, or I guess movie, whatever they want to call it, which I think was only available on those box sets, the Disney Treasures box sets. I'm pretty sure that was one of the only ways you could get copies of those. And now, it's on Disney Plus for $6 a month. But the Imagineering story, you guys, first 2 episodes have been great. I'm a big fan of what they've been doing with the first 2 episodes. The first episode, I believe, details from the inception of Disneyland until Walt's death and the beginning of the Epcot Walt Disney World plans. And the second episode details the construction of Epcot as well as Hong Kong, or it was Tokyo Disneyland. Yeah. From Epcot's construction to Tokyo Disneyland. And I didn't get to watch the preview for the 3rd episode because my phone wouldn't let me watch it. So I'm not sure what the 3rd episode is going to be detailing. Alex, if you happen to know.
Actually, I was hoping there would be one, and I didn't see it either.
Interesting. Okay, well, anyways, we'll figure it out once Friday comes. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the Imagineering story so far. I guess the main question for us was it worth paying $6 a month for, this one show that we're going to be watching? Alex, was the Imagineering story worth it for you to buy, for buying Disney Plus, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
So I know a lot of people would probably expect me to say a certain thing. They expect me to say no, right? Because it's one show out of a whole streaming service. But let me tell you, this show had a lot of stuff in it that I didn't know. And it's every year it's become increasingly difficult to stump me on Disneyland-based knowledge. And that first episode, which was all about Disneyland, had some things in there that I didn't know. And it certainly had footage and audio that I had never heard before or seen before.
Yeah, that was one thing I wanted to touch on as well. But continue.
And the second episode wowed me even more. And here's why. Because in the second episode, they talked a lot about the politics, that the crazy politics that the company went through after Walt's death. And let me tell you how important that is. When I was in guest relations, I remember being taught how to be a personal tour guide, and also how to give new tours. One of my trainers was a woman named Deborah, and very knowledgeable woman, extremely knowledgeable. But Disney didn't teach her anything. She learned it for herself. And she started setting standards across the department for tour guides on what to say, what not to say. Because the company, believe me, is more cautious about what not to say rather than what you do say. And so I remember during the training, I brought up the subject of, what about this whole debacle that happened after Walt and Roy's death? Like, the company changing hands and then, corporate buyouts and, and then people feeling like the magic was lost, all that stuff. There's a whole lot of like company politics that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember she said, we really shouldn't talk about that. She said, because the company does not want people to know about that. The company is very protective of its image being this happy company with a successful past. And they kind of want to gloss over the years following Walt and Roy's death and just skip towards the years when they started becoming successful again and everything was coming back together. More specifically, we're allowed to talk about things starting from the Disney Renaissance all the way up till now. But yeah, she told us like, that's something we should not talk about. And that's something the company frowns upon us talking about. And so the company is very protective, is what I'm trying to say, over things that make them look like a corporation versus Walt Disney's company.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that episode had some details into that and had footage of former Imagineers discussing their opinions on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Including Bob Gurr and his very strong opinions about those years.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing. I don't know if Disney actively was willing to do that or if it was something like, oh, well, they already shot the footage, they already edited it together, and we need this thing out on the screen. I don't know. But if Disney actively was willing to show this stuff, then kudos to them for being transparent. I've always felt that the Disney company should be more transparent about their past and be willing to embrace what happened and take responsibility for it and just say, yes, that happened, but we're different now.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to them on that. But yeah. Sorry, that was like a tangent.
Well, yeah, big shout out to iWorks and Co., who were the, I believe, the producers on all these episodes. Producers, directors, I could be mixing those up. Big shout out to them. And one thing I do want to touch on with this episode, or I guess with the whole series in general, you guys know, when it comes to my channel, when it comes to Alex's channel as well, we value a lot of the footage that we put into our videos, and we try to find the highest quality, clips, whether it be clips from the Disneyland Goes to the World's Fair or Disneyland After Dark, those kinds of, shows that we use clips in for our YouTube videos. We value trying to find the highest quality versions of those possible. And one of the things we were hoping for would be Disney, releasing all those World of Color episodes, Disneyland episodes on the service. That hasn't happened. I guess that's something I should note as well. The only episode of World of Color, Wonderful World of Color, I believe, is Disneyland Around the Seasons. And that's the only one there so far. Hopefully, if people get to submit enough, maybe they'll put more on. But in these episodes, they have shown versions of these video clips that we're so used to seeing, bootlegged on YouTube in such high quality. And one in specific I'd like to point out, I believe in the first or in the second episode, when they're detailing the construction and the inception of Epcot, they show clips from Walt Disney's film, the Epcot film, in the most amazing quality I've ever seen. And if you go on YouTube, there's restorations out there. There's a lot of great restorations out there, but they pale in comparison to the I guess the source quality that Disney has locked away in their vault. And I just like, I guess it was kind of obvious that they'd use high quality clips like that in the episodes, but I just like to, whoever preserved those films should, applause to them, because I've never seen Disneyland in such beautiful quality. Especially they show clips from the People and Places Disneyland USA film that were miles better than the ones that we've seen online. So big, that was really a big selling point for me as well.
They also showed a lot of the footage that was the time lapse footage of Disneyland's construction that was shot, including time lapse footage that after Disneyland opened, which I've never seen before. Like time-lapse footage of the construction of new things. I can't remember anymore. I'd have to rewatch the thing, but I remember in the first episode seeing time-lapse footage of them building something, I think maybe 5 to 10 years after Disneyland opened. And I'm like, I've never seen that footage before. And so, I have to say kudos to them for refurbishing that footage, because they would have had to do that. They would have had to refurbish it, because if they've never used it on any other like Disney documentary before, then how would it be in such great shape? So they had to have refurbished it just for this documentary series. And they did an amazing job. And I'd have to say one of the footages that I've seen before, but is always in horrible shape, is the footage of Pirates of the Caribbean's inception and construction. Yes. That footage is often in such horrible condition online, and up until recently, I haven't found any like good quality versions of it. Even the versions that some Disney fans have recently just sent me, which are better quality, still don't match the quality of the one on Disney Plus. So it's, and like Matt said, like he and I try very hard to get the best quality footage. And I don't know about him, but I even go through the difficulty of trying to increase the quality of the footage for my videos as the best I can do with Adobe Premiere. But even then, it's like not enough. So
yeah, here's to hoping that Disney will eventually put out all those, episodes of World of Color, all those Disneyland original TV episodes, even the Epcot film. That'd be amazing to see that uploaded to YouTube. Maybe not 1080p, but the highest quality that they have. That'd be pretty cool. And Jeremy and I were also talking about the interviews, or I guess just like voiceover clips that they have of all the different Imagineers. There were some of Mary Blair speaking, as well as John Hench, and just amazing. If you guys are big fans of Disney history, I'd recommend subscribing to Disney Plus just for the show. Sure, you might get The Mandalorian, which I've only seen the first episode. I haven't seen the second one yet. The Mandalorian, we're not going to touch on that in this, just because, unless Alex wants to touch on The Mandalorian. Do you want to discuss that?
I mean, yeah, I thought that's something we were gonna do.
Okay, well, we can touch on The Mandalorian here in a second. But yeah, 100%. If you guys are big fans of Disney history, if you like watching, videos like ours, and all the other history channels out there that detail Disney history, I'd recommend subscribing to Disney Plus, or even just using the free trial and watching a couple of the episodes of the Imagineering story. Oh my gosh, I can hear my dad screaming in the background. He's watching the Cardinals football game. Oh my gosh. Oh, they just scored a touchdown. Okay, that's why he's screaming. Anyways, let's see, where was I? Yes. Another thing worth pointing out before we move on to The Mandalorian, if you guys are looking to subscribe to Disney Plus to get the highest quality versions of the original animated films, I do not believe you will be satisfied with this. I remember I looked through Bambi, I looked through Dumbo, and I looked through Snow White. Those are the three that I looked at. And the quality is not Blu-ray quality. If you were to pop in a Blu-ray to your DVD player, you would not be able to see it in as high as quality as you would be able to on Disney Plus. The copies I have are much better. I'm sure the copies Alex has are much better as well. But again,
Now, can I ask you something?
yes.
So I haven't actually yet gone on Disney Plus to see these old animated movies, mostly because I already have them on Blu-ray. But so you were just saying that you kind of skimmed through them to see the quality. Now, did you give the video sufficient time to load into HD? Because sometimes when you play a streaming service video, the first like 30 seconds are pixelated, and then it like catches up, and then it gets. Did you?
Yes, I watched specific scenes, that I was interested in rewatching from each of the movies. I watched the entirety of Snow White. I watched the April shower scene from Bambi, and I watched the crow scene, the ending scene from Dumbo. I watched those all through, and they didn't load up into any of the higher, quote unquote Blu-ray quality. So if you guys are looking for like those amazing remasters of the animated films, this would not be the service for you. I'd still recommend going out, maybe buying a Blu-ray if you have like a Blu-ray player. I don't know who would buy DVDs anymore, but
you know what I wonder is the reason for that is, so with a big company like this, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that if one department does something, then the rest of the company has access to it. I can't help but wonder if Disney Home Video, who is the subsidiary of the company that releases these movies on Blu-ray, I can't help but wonder if Disney Home Video was the one that restored these movies for Blu-ray quality, but when the company wanted to use the streaming service, they didn't have access to the Blu-ray quality, so they just used what they had in their possession. And I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people, but that's a real thing. Like even when I worked at Disneyland, it was crazy. Like, have you ever noticed, like when you're at Disneyland, you watch like, I don't know, Fantasmic or the fireworks, and the animation that they use is like really poor animation compared to what the company can actually do. It's because the entertainment department of Disneyland is the one that creates the animation, not the animation studio. So because they don't have the right to. So it's creepy. It's weird. It's like, why? But it's some weird thing where the company is a conglomerate. So it's not one company, it's several. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that is a really good thing to detail as well. It could be, some licensing or rights issue. Again, it is weird saying that because they're both owned by Disney, but that could just be the thing. Maybe in a few years, once, I don't know, maybe in a few years they'll eventually upgrade them to the Blu-ray quality. I don't know. I guess that's one knock for me for Disney Plus. If you're looking for those higher quality releases, this would not be the service for you. Another just very nitpicky kind of thing I'd like to mention. There's no option to change the quality of the videos you're watching. Sure, it automatically does it for you, but say if you're watching a YouTube video, and I know it's very complicated for what YouTube does when it changes with that quality changer. If you change it from 480p to 720p to 1080p to 4K, it's a very complicated process. I know that YouTube implies or implores, whatever, that YouTube uses to, I don't know the right word to use, that YouTube uses to change the quality, on a click. But that's just one thing I'd also like to mention there. If you're looking for something like that, again, Netflix doesn't have that, Hulu doesn't have that. I don't know, I guess I just assumed Disney Plus would, but it doesn't have an audio or a video quality selector. It does it automatically for you based on your internet speed, I believe. So yeah, that's another knock for me, but I'll go ahead.
Oh, have you watched anything from Disney Plus yet on your PC?
My PC, yes.
Okay. So when you play something, does it take a while for you to be able to have mouse control to like hit the buttons?
I don't know. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
Because when I play a video from Disney Plus, I want to select full screen, but I have to wait a while because once the video starts playing, my mouse doesn't show up on the screen and it doesn't give me any control. After maybe about 15 seconds, finally my mouse suddenly shows up and I can hit full screen. And I'm like, is that something that happens to everybody? You know?
No, I don't think that has happened to me. I can test it after the stream. I'm not sure, but I guess
weird computer.
Yeah, another thing to note, my weird computer. I can't use Disney Plus on Google Chrome or it blue screens my computer. So I have to use it on Firefox. I'm not sure if that's just something to do with Chrome or if my computer's not strong enough to handle Disney Plus. I don't know. It's just a weird quirk, I guess.
What does that mean at blue screens?
So how do you explain what blue screening is? So it crashes the computer, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It pops up with like a blue screen that shows an error message, and it basically crashes the computer and has to restart all over again. I'm sure someone in chat can explain it better than what I just did, but yeah, it could just be a big quirk for me.
Well, I want to say though, besides the Imagineering story, the big plus for me, plus no pun intended, is that what the part I love about having Disney Plus is National Geographic.
Mm-hmm.
I love National Geographic shows. So I've been having the time of my life just watching the Imagineering story and National Geographic and The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I thought I wouldn't enjoy National Geographic as much as I would, because when they announced it, kind of felt like an afterthought to me. But I guess a lot of people are interested in. I mean, when I'm in the right mood, I do like watching, not necessarily nature documentaries, but they do put out a lot of great document. How do you pronounce that word? Documentaries? For some reason, I just forgot how to pronounce. It's not. Guys, am I going crazy? Alex, say it for me. Alex, please say it. Please say the word for me.
What, documentaries?
Documentary. I completely forgot how to say that word. I was trying to pronounce it like documentary. I guess that could be right. I don't know. My dad's screaming again because they just intercepted the ball. But I just completely forgot.
Howard Hughes had the same problem as you did. He'd get hung up on words and feel like he didn't say them right, and he'd repeat them for hours and hours on end. And people found out after several years that he had OCD, a very extreme form, which led him at one point to hold himself up in a small screening room for several months, completely naked.
Bruh.
So yeah, get used to that little closet you record in.
Oh my gosh, I might have just had a stroke, you guys. Wait, give me a second. Documentary. The National Geographic has a lot of great I'm just gonna move on.
What is happening right now?
Anyways, I'd like to touch back on the original animated movies, specifically Dumbo, because I'm sure you guys remember us talking. Matt, do you smell burnt toast? I do not smell burnt toast. I smell my belt, which smells of leather. So no, I do not smell. I got a new belt, you guys. It sounds weird to say it without the context like that, but I got a new belt.
Where is your nose right now?
The smell of the leather is very strong. Oh my gosh, guys, I think I'm dying. I could be. Is there a doctor in the house? Anyways, oh my gosh, what a great podcast this is turning out to be. But anyways, back to Dumbo. I'm sure you guys remember us reporting a few months ago that they'd be removing the crow scene from Dumbo. I'm happy to report that the crow scene is still in Dumbo, you guys. We did it. All the applause, everybody. All the complaining on Twitter finally worked. So the crow scene is still in Dumbo, and there is a small little warning at the end of the description that details the out-of-date cultural depictions. That's not like the exact phrasing they use, but I've been happy that they included the crow scene because it's such an integral scene to the story, and the song is really good too. I like that When I See an Elephant Fly song from Dumbo. It's one of my. It's the best song from the movie, in my opinion. I haven't checked to see if the Siamese cat scene is still in Lady and the Tramp. I'm assuming it is, with the same, cultural warning at the end or in the description. But kudos to Disney for including that as well, after all of us were complaining so much on Twitter about it.
Can I just say, I'm really happy to hear this. And the reason is because I always felt that Disney should use these scenes as an opportunity to educate, rather than to bury the past. And I mean, granted, once again, the scene in Dumbo is meant to be satirical, and it's meant to poke fun at the common thinking at the time, rather than actually be a racist thing.
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, because people nowadays don't know what satire means, nevertheless, I always still felt that these scenes should be left intact in the movies, so that way Disney has an opportunity to educate its viewers about, hey, our stuff wasn't always so what we consider today kid or family friendly, and here is why. Here is a detailed reason, why this happened and why we don't do this anymore. And I think that's great, because that will teach new kids, or not new kids, but kids this generation and the future generations, why we see things differently now and why we change things. It's a great opportunity to educate the public using films that they love, So even Timothy just asked right now, should Disney Plus release Song of the South? I think yes. I think they should. I mean, with a huge disclaimer in the beginning of the movie, but yes, even Whoopi Goldberg was recently just made a Disney legend, and even she is saying, you need to release Song of the South, and you need to educate people as to why this movie was made the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is a very good reason why it was, and has nothing to do with being racist. It's a long story. But the point is that, that we can educate people. We can tell them why these things are no longer acceptable. And by doing that, we can prevent it from happening in the future, which is important because in this day and age, there's a whole lot of questioning as to what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. And these old movies can teach us that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bering said, I want to see Song of the South. It's not a very good movie. The animated parts are the only good parts. I watched it a few months ago with my dad, and I did not think it was a very good movie. Personally.
Well, that's because Matt was sweating from discomfort the whole time.
Oh my goodness.
I love that laugh.
Well, anyways, I could send you a copy of Song of the South if you want, Bering. I was provided very generously from Jeremy. I guess I shouldn't say. Anonymously,
you shouldn't have said that.
I was provided a very high-quality copy of... I'm just going to move on. Anyways, yeah, we can briefly talk about The Mandalorian as well. I've only seen the first episode again. I've not seen the second one. But just based off... Very brief opinion. Just based off the first episode of The Mandalorian... The Mandalorian seems to be the greatest thing to happen to Star Wars, in my opinion. The greatest thing Disney has produced, Star Wars-wise, in my opinion. Miles above, granted, The Force Awakens, not a terrible movie. The Last Jedi, no comment. The Mandalorian is better, in my opinion, I feel like, is the greatest thing the greatest piece of content, Star Wars content, what am I trying to say? The greatest piece of Star Wars content that Disney has released, period. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Oh, God. Just based off the one episode I've seen. I've heard the second one's pretty good, too. I'm excited to see where the series goes from here. Alex, what are your thoughts on The Mandalorian so far?
Okay. So I went in watching this show kind of skeptical about how good it would be, because
me as
I
well.
personally, when it comes to all the new Star Wars content, the only thing I liked was the movie Rogue One, and a lot of people didn't like that movie. But anyway, I was worried that The Mandalorian would be just more of the Star Wars stuff that I don't like. However, I have to say that by the end of the first episode, I was like, there's some things in here that, are kind of dumb, but the story is good.
Yeah, the story's
good.
The
story's really good. And I watched the second episode on Friday, and it got even better. And I liked it. And I mean, granted, I'm not going to say it's perfect. I mean, there's weird things that just so Star Wars.
There's a reference from the Star Wars Holiday Special in the first episode. He talks about Life Day. The alien he freezes. I guess spoilers. I'm sorry, guys. Spoilers for The Mandalorian.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't want to release too much stuff either for people who haven't seen it. But I mean, I know that Star Wars is a fantasy, adventure type of thing. But I feel like some of their explanations for things are just really dumb. Like, I'm just kind of like, oh, who wrote this? A kindergartner? But anyway, anyway, but the point is besides that fact, I thought that the story was really good, and I'm like, you know what? I have to say, at the moment, I think I'm gonna be a fan of The Mandalorian, and I did not expect that. I didn't think this would be interesting at all, and it is. So thank you, Disney, for providing something that I feel like I can watch.
Yeah, Jon Favreau.
And to everybody who's been asking lately, Alex, is there anything you like to watch? Well, there you go. This is it.
Guys, we did it. Disney did it. They finally got on Alex's good side with the stuff he likes to watch.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jon Favreau. He's really been knocking it out of the park when it comes to the last, granted he made a few of the live action movies, but those movies that he did make made a lot of money for Disney. So in terms of, from Disney's perspective, he's been doing a really good job for them, money-wise.
Wait, Jon Favreau made the show Mandalorian?
Yeah. I don't know if he wrote it all, but I know he's directing it.
That's amazing, because the only Jon Favreau thing I've ever liked in the past was the movie Chef. Everything else I hated.
Chef is a great movie, you guys.
Yeah. Chef was like a weird oasis of greatness out of all his movies and shows.
Well, he made Iron Man 1, and I guess the second one.
Yeah.
I was a fan of Iron Man 1. Alex, as we know, I'm not a big superhero fan. But anyways, I think that wraps up our discussion on... I guess we'll end this recommending... We do recommend you subscribe to Disney+. I mean, of course, you're watching this podcast, you're a fan of Disney. You'd be a fan of this streaming service. There's content for everybody. The Jeff Goldblum series on there is really good as well. I saw the first episode. Jeff Goldblum is just like the right amount of quirky to carry an episode of like a mini-series documentary. Whatever. I think I keep pronouncing it wrong. But the first episode is about like the growing craze in buying sneakers. And he gets like a custom-made sneaker for himself. And what's his face? What is his name? What's his... Jeff Goldblum.
Favreau?
No, Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Gosh, I'm losing my mind. Jeff Goldblum, like I said, just the right amount of quirky to carry a 30 hour minute. I think it's 30 minutes. 30-minute long episode. I watched... what else did I see? I watched The Mandalorian. I think those are the only ones I watched. I didn't see the new High School Musical show. I didn't see Noelle or whatever that new series is with Amy... What's her face? Mr. Sir says he wrote the first two so far and directed the first one. Jon Favreau directing and writing the Mandalorian. So big props to him. I think that wraps up that. I would recommend you guys subscribing to Disney Plus. There's really something for everybody, is what we're trying to say. If you're, if you have kids, they can watch all the old Disney Channel cartoons, all the old DComs, Disney Channel original movies, as well as, could have a family movie night watching Pinocchio or something. And, of course, you have all the Pixar movies, Marvel movies, Star Wars movies, really everything. Yeah, it is really weird. It covers like almost all bases when it comes to like content for families coming so I'd recommend subscribing to Disney Plus. Alex, would you recommend subscribing to Disney Plus?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I got Disney Plus with the idea in mind that I had a list of family and friends who wanted to get in on the service. And one of them was my sister. And I mean, she never asked me, but I knew that she wanted to see it because she's like a huge Disney fan.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave her the passcode and everything on the 12th, the day that Disney Plus started streaming, and was a big surprise to her. And let me tell you, she hasn't left the house since. So I'm actually kind of worried. Like I've been trying to text her. I'm like, have you left the house at all? So she's been watching the other day she texted me, she's like, oh my God, Frozen is a good movie. I'm like, you've never seen Frozen? And she's like, I love it. It's my favorite movie. And then like an hour later, she's like, oh my God, Moana is going to be my favorite movie. And I'm like, wow. So anyway, yeah, I highly recommend Disney Plus. And even if you find that you are not watching as much of it, because I don't watch that much of it. I don't have much time, but I know people who do, and you can share your service with other people and maybe they'll help you pay for it. And you don't have to, I know a lot of people are subscribing for like 2 or 3 years of it, but you can pay monthly like I do. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, it's only $6 or $7 a month, so it's way cheaper than Netflix, which, with Netflix you have the rotating content selection. Disney Plus, everything is always going to be there. I believe I saw an article somewhere that said that they were going to be rotating the content, but I don't know if that was just clickbait or whatever. So and I have the bundle. Yeah. So I have Disney ESPN Plus, which nobody's ever going to watch. And then I have the Hulu, which I hate that it has ads. I'm like, why am I paying for it if it has ads? But anyway, yeah, I have Hulu, which at least I can watch like Malcolm in the Middle or something on that. So yeah, I think it's worth it. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned nobody watching ESPN Plus. I got the bundle specifically for ESPN Plus as well, because I'm a big football fan, and Peyton's Places is only streaming on ESPN Plus. I'm a big fan of Peyton Manning. He's really funny in the series, so I'd recommend getting the bundle as well. I don't really watch much of Hulu, Bob's Burgers occasionally. So yeah, for me, it's really just Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. Big sports fan. If you guys are sports fans as well, get the bundle. It's not too much cheaper, $12 a month. I believe that's either just barely above or barely below Netflix. I think Netflix is like $9 or $11 a month. Can't remember the numbers in my head, but
it's like 12 something per month.
Okay, so that's already like 3 or 4 times the content you get with Netflix compared to the bundle with Disney Plus, ESPN, and Hulu. So, anyways, before we move on, we do have one voicemail from, let's see, from Avery. Let's go ahead and give this a listen to. This is about Disney Plus, and then we'll get into Matt's dad is screaming. Guys, the 49ers just scored, you guys. There's 31 seconds left. Cardinals are down 4. It's not looking good. But anyways.
Number at the population of...
Wait, okay. I didn't play it. It wasn't playing for you guys, so let me start it over.
10 million people. Wow, that's like the same number as the population of UAE, Sweden, Azerbaijan, Jordan, Portugal, and Greece. That's incredible. That's extremely wow. It's amazing how many people signed up on launch day. I mean, I like it. I've watched the Imagineering story, and to be honest, I could watch Bob Gurr shoot some hoops all day. And the first 2 episodes made me cry. Actually, I mean, yeah, a lot of people are upset about the crop seasons of The Simpsons, and that how episodes are not in order, yada yada. But I like it. I like the platform. I think it'll be challenging for the other streaming services to compete with Disney Plus. And I think Disney. I know Bob Iger said that Disney Plus is like the future of Disney, or that streaming is the future of Disney. I mean, their streaming service is fine, or it's a fine grade, but I don't think that should be Disney's complete future. I don't think so. I don't think streaming is their future. It should be more. Their future should be more than just dedicated to streaming.
Okay, well, Avery sort of touches on things I'd like to get into depth. Maybe next week when we have Jeremy back on the show, because we do, this is just our initial review of the platform. Maybe next week when Jeremy's on, we will talk about the future of Disney Plus and what it holds for the future of the company. Yeah.
Can I just ask Avery a question? Avery, are there like clones of you out there? Because every YouTube video, doesn't matter what subject I'm watching, you're in the comment section, so I know you watch that video. How do you have the time of day to watch all the videos that you get to watch and Disney Plus? I mean, there's got to be like 3 or 4 of you. I mean, just going through YouTube and the streaming services. This guy, he's got it made. He's got his life ahead of him.
Yeah, shout out to Avery. We'll be touching on what Avery said possibly next week. We're hoping to have Jeremy back on the show next week so we can get more into detail. But yeah, we're going to go for a quick sponsor break, and then when we come back, you guys, it's going to get real juicy, let me tell you. So we'll be right back after this break from the sponsors. If you guys are wondering where you can find even more family-friendly live streams just like this one, head on over to theliveplace.com. The Live Place is your headquarters for great family-friendly live streams. They cover anything from Disney to other vacation spots, various variety shows, and have some amazing streamers like Resort TV 1 and myself. Also, be sure to check out puckermint.com, where you can find amazing pins and stickers. Puckermint is based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, just a few hours from where I live. And since I'm a big believer in supporting local artists, we decided to partner up. Be sure to use the coupon code down below when you make your next order. Again, that's puckermint.com and puckermint on Instagram. All right, and we are back for our final bit. Our final topic today, you guys. Let's see. This is a lengthy one. We're going to be taking a rundown. All I see is Alex said oof in the chat. For Alex saying he doesn't have time to watch TV, he's got the time to notice Avery watching the same Oh, he got you, Alex. He got you good. You played yourself.
Oh, God. That's true.
Well, for our final topic, we're going to be going in depth, or as much in depth as we can. I'm not an expert on this topic. Alex might know more about this than I do because he's been spending a lot more time reading up on it. But yeah, it's guaranteed. But we're going to be detailing all the changes coming to YouTube come 2020 with the new, the new COPPA regulations, Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, and what YouTube has done to enforce that. So, starting off, I'd like to quickly shout out Josh from Resort TV 1, who put out a very wonderful video, actually just this morning of the recording, Sunday morning, detailing everything. So link to that will be in the description below. Also, links to all the articles we refer to will be in the description below, as always. There's going to be a lot of changes coming to YouTube in 2020. I'm sure you've all been hearing about it, so I'd like to go into depth on what will be happening come 2020 when the changes go into effect. The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, I believe is what it stands for. I just pulled that right out of my butthole, so I'm glad I got it right. The FTC...
I'm glad there was room to pull it.
Oh, bro. Where's my bruh sound effect? Where is it? That's Michael Jackson, hee hee. Wait.
Bruh. It's still appropriate.
Anyways, the FTC has enforcement of a law called COPPA, COPPA, which stands for the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, which was passed in 1998 to protect children under the age of 13 online. And just recently, the FTC found that YouTube was collecting information illegally from children browsing YouTube under the age of 13. Children under the age of 13 browsing YouTube in order to create better personalized and targeted ads for them. If you guys don't know what personalized targeted ads means, it means, say you're Googling something, you're Googling for, I don't know, you're Googling for diapers, you're Googling for cribs and stuff like that. I think there was like one instance I saw of a woman who was doing that, who was Googling cribs and like diapers and stuff like that, and Target was started to send her coupons for said baby items, because the woman was pregnant, I believe, and the dad found the coupons from Target in the mail, and the dad confronted her, and I think the daughter confessed that she was pregnant to the dad. So that's a whole other story. Yeah, that's basically what it means. If you Google something, if you look up something online, or not necessarily, it doesn't not just talking about Googling. If you watch certain things on YouTube, those sites can collect the data from you, the watch time of the videos, the keywords that you search for, to use those to help create better ads targeted towards you.
Yeah, I mean, those of us who watch Disney YouTube-based channel or Disney-based YouTube channels, you may have noticed that the ads that you get happen to be a lot of traveling ads. So that's one of the.
Yeah, it's a lot more complex, I believe, just from the way we've explained it to be. But that's basically the rundown of what a targeted/personalized ad is. I'll just run down what I was just saying. The FTC found YouTube was collecting information illegally from children under the age of 13 browsing YouTube in order to create better personalized, targeted ads for them. Now, that is illegal because, like I just mentioned, the COPPA, Child's Online Privacy Protection Act, was made specifically to prevent that. Children under the age of 13 collecting information on them. Now, what YouTube is doing violates COPPA. It's also worth noting that YouTube does say on the App Store that you have to be 13 years or older to use the YouTube app. If you go into the App Store, the Google Play Store, whatever service you use, you'll see a little banner that says, I believe, like years, 13 plus or something like that. And up until just a few months ago, that alone was sufficient to be in line with the COPPA regulations, because that, details specifically if a parent were to download an app for your child under the age of 13, or if like a under the age of 13 kid were to go into the App Store, try to download YouTube, they'd see that banner that says you have to be over the age of 13, and that's, the parent's responsibility to make sure that they don't subject their child to stuff like that. YouTube also has a whole separate app called YouTube Kids on the App Store, where no information is collected on any of the children using the site, so no personalized ads, none of that information is collected. It was recently found that less than 1% of children under the age of 13 were actually using the YouTube Kids app, and instead were using normal YouTube. The FTC then claimed that YouTube was aware that children under the age of 13 were not using the YouTube Kids app, and still collected personalized data on those who were using normal YouTube under the age of 13, that is. The FTC found out YouTube was violating COPPA due to, everything I was saying earlier, collecting information about children to create personalized ads, and fined the site $179 million. It's a big chunk change for YouTube, especially because I don't think YouTube actually makes a profit every year. Just very razor-thin profits is what they make. I think they operate mostly at a loss, just because of the way the channel, the site is operated. They're based solely on advertising. That's a whole other story to get into. But YouTube would then go on to, or I guess is now, providing a method for content creators to self-report their content as made for kids, quote-unquote made for kids, or quote-unquote not made for kids, or, as Alex said earlier to me, attractive to kids is another way to phrase it, which I guess is a better way to phrase it. Attractive to kids, or,
No, that's not what I meant when I said that.
Okay, well, please explain what you meant then.
I'll get to it when you get further into the details, because it has to do with the other details.
Okay. Let's see, where was I? Now, this is where a lot of the gray area. This is where a lot of the trouble comes in, everybody's complaining about. YouTube is notorious for pushing updates to its platform and making, changing regulations, making those regulations and rules very vague to its content creators, the people who publish the videos on their website, the people who help make YouTube money. They're very vague when it comes to a lot of these new updates that they push, a lot of these new rules that they set in place. The same thing happened a few years ago when the adpocalypse happened. Videos were getting demonetized. Nobody knew why, and now I guess it's worked itself out. But let's see. When you select Made for Kids for a specific video, comments become disabled on that video, notifications are turned off for the video, and also turned off are the personalized and targeted ads to the people who watch, which results in a 70 to 80% loss in ad revenue. Just because that big chunk, I guess the majority of the ads that run on YouTube are those personalized and targeted ads to its viewers. So if you lose that, again, that's 70 to 80% loss in how much money you make specifically from the amount of ads that run on your videos. Now, sure, you could applaud YouTube for doing this, trying to protect the kids on the site, enforcing these new rules, but no more targeted ads towards kid-friendly videos. But this is where all the trouble comes in. Okay, what does YouTube, or more specifically, the FTC, consider as, quote, made for kids content? Now, I'm going to be reading off an excerpt from YouTube's own support/help page here. Quote, we provide some guidance on what is considered, quote, made for kids below, but we cannot provide legal advice. If you are unsure whether your videos meet the standard, we suggest you seek legal counsel. According to the FTC's guidance on COPPA, a video is child-directed, parentheses, which we call, quote, made for kids, if children are the primary audience based on the factors described below, which we'll get to, or children are not the primary audience, but the video is still directed to children based on the factors below, which we'll be getting to again in a second. It's very vague. Like I mentioned earlier, the details that they released when it came to the adpocalypse were very vague as well. This is something YouTube has been known for. Here's something else to note. In my channel analytics, for all of 2019 so far, up until, I believe, last week when I took the screenshots, the primary age range for people who watch my videos are 25 years old to 34 years old, and ages 13 to 17 make up 0.5%, less than 1% of the people who watch my videos. Now, if you're a content creator, you go into the analytics and you look at that, you think to yourself, oh, well, that's perfectly fine, then I'll just make my videos not specifically geared towards kids, but we'll loop back around to that in a second. Go back to the second point made by YouTube. Children are not the primary audience, but the video is still directed to children based on the factors below. 1. Subject matter of the video. Example, educational content for preschoolers, like the ABCs, nursery rhymes, stuff like that. 2. Whether children are your intended or actual audience for the video, which, for Alex and I, we're not making our videos specifically for toddlers, specifically for people under the age of 13. I can't speak for Alex, but for myself, I make videos on my channel geared mainly towards overall family, sometimes mostly, the upper age ranges of, like I was saying, 24 to 34 years old, not necessarily geared towards children. 3, whether the video contains or includes child actors or models. I don't think we've ever done that before. 4, this is a big one here. Whether the video includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children, including animated characters or cartoon figures. Now, that's a big one. Does that mean if we show Mickey Mouse in a 30-minute long Historyland video, that video is supposed to be marked as made for kids, when most of the information will go right over the kids' heads, when it's a history video about the politics of the Disney company. circling back around to the analytics I talked about earlier, note, this is from YouTube's help support page again, quote, note, YouTube Analytics is not designed to help determine if your content is child-directed. You should use the factors outlined by the FTC above to set your audience. Well, wait a minute. I just said earlier that less than 1% of people who watched my videos in 2019 are ages 13 to 17, so that must mean, ages 0 to 13, ages 1 to 13, make up even less than that, and that the majority of my audience is 25 years old to 34 years old, so, those analytics are completely useless. And here's the main stinker that comes along with this. If you happen to mark your YouTube video as not made for kids, and YouTube or the FTC stumbles across the video and feels like it is made for kids, you, the content creator, can be fined up to $42,000 per video violation. So say we have 100 videos on my channel. I mark all of them as not made for kids. YouTube or the FTC comes in, looks at my videos, decides, oh, this guy makes Disney videos. This is obviously geared towards children. I mark my videos as not made for kids. YouTube or the FTC decides that they are made for kids. They decide to fine me $42,000 per video. What's $42,000 times 100 videos? That's like $42 million. I'd be fined? The math is probably wrong, but so that basically outlines the whole picture when it comes to the new changes put in place. Alex, do you have anything you'd like to add to that? Okay.
Yes. So Matt was talking about the points outlined, being that subject matter of the video, whether children are intended or the actual audience, whether the video contains child actors or models, and then the big one, whether the video includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children. Well, there's actually another point. There's an additional one, and it and what it is, sorry, a video automatically played, and I was like, I can't hear myself talk. What it is the wording used was any video that is attractive to children.
Mm-hmm.
So that I know is a very vague definition. You're probably going, well, what does that mean, Alex? And I'm here to tell you, nobody knows what that means. The best thing the best definition we know of what that means is anything that might attract a child to want to watch your video is also at risk of being a video that is made for kids. So there was another YouTuber who is a lawyer. There's actually several YouTubers who are lawyers who are actually talking about this, but one of them was saying, look, here's some advice for you. He says, if it looks like from a distance that your video has anything to do with toys or cartoons or child-friendly celebrities or places and stuff like that, the best and safest thing you can do is just label it as a for kids video. And now I know a lot of people right now are going, yeah, but you guys, your videos clearly are not for kids videos. Well, we know that. We all know that.
It's not up to us to determine that.
It's not up to us. Someone else said it best. I forget who. I think a friend of mine or something, was saying, look, when they conduct their sweeps next year, which, believe me, the FTC did warn that they will be conducting sweeps next year using all kinds of manners like AI, algorithms, and even people to conduct the sweeps of YouTube creators, of which there are 25 million. They will be looking for certain criteria. And believe me, you're probably thinking, oh, well, there's no way that they have the time of day to look through everyone's video. You're right. They don't. So what are they going to do? They're going to look at the thumbnail. They're going to do a quick skim, very quick skim of your video. And if anything in there even looks remotely like it could be for kids, they're going to mark you. Now, yes, you can fight this in court. You know, you can say, oh, but look. Well, the thing is most people can't afford the defense for a court battle. It costs a lot of money to go to court and fight this stuff, which is where, you know, my channel kind of falls into this thing, because I looked at my channel and I'm like, you know, everything is designed so that way the whole family can watch it. You know, there's no kind of subject matter or even words that I use in my videos that are, you know, only adult oriented. Everything is made for the families. That being said, when you look at my videos and put them up against all these things, my videos do contain subject matter that is understandable to kids. My videos do contain characters, celebrities, and cartoons that kids like, you know, namely being, you know, the characters being Disney characters are often featured in my videos in some way, shape, or form. Celebrities being Disney-based celebrities, including Walt Disney, one of the most famous Disney kids-friendly celebrities out there. You know, and then what was the other one? The other one was animated characters, cartoon figures, or toys. Yeah, my channel also features sometimes toys and stuff like that. So that fits into it. And then of course there's the last one, which I was just telling Matt, it also counts, is anything that attracts children to the video. Now you might be saying, well, Alex, your videos are all history. Why would kids want to watch a history video? Well, because the thumbnail has a picture of Splash Mountain on it. Kids love Disneyland. They're going to want to click on my videos just based off the thumbnail alone, if not the imagery on the screen during the video. So let's not lie to ourselves here. There's a lot of stuff that falls under these categories. And is the FTC really going to take their time, you know, during their sweeps to actually determine? No, they're going to look at just a very quick view, just a little tiny bite of the cookie, and they're going to go, this is the flavor, this is what this is, and we're going to mark you for it. And so if I am labeled incorrectly, such as for adults, and they see just a glimpse of Mickey Mouse or even just the thumbnail of the video, they're going to say, yeah, sorry, this is a for kids content. You marked it incorrectly. Now you have to go to court. You can battle it in court, but I won't be able to afford it. So that is the problem here. So Superstar Limo asks, why can't YouTube just block personal ads on accounts they suspect are run by kids?
That's what the YouTube Kids app is for, though.
That's what the YouTube Kids app is for, but I see what he means.
Yeah.
You know how parents let their kids use their logins and usernames to watch channels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, YouTube might be able to see, oh, this person watches a lot of kids content, so they must be a kid. Well, let me put in a scenario for you. There's a lot of people who are adults who only watch kids content, namely being a lot of people, let's say with autism. You know, my friend Eric, for instance, he does not watch anything that is considered like adult content or even anywhere near adult content. And it makes him feel uncomfortable, you know, because it's just not his thing. Or I have viewers who only watch strictly kids content. Like I have a viewer who only watches like Disney Junior stuff. Again, I think he has autism, but that's the stuff he's comfortable with watching. But he's an adult, you know? So this kind of thing is like, it's hard for YouTube to know, is this a kid or is this an adult? you know, and then furthermore, if you're a family who has one YouTube account, you know, the adults might still want to watch adult stuff, but the kids, when they log on, want to watch kid stuff. So it's really difficult to track who is a kid and who isn't a kid when the account was made by an adult. You know, and then again, someone earlier asked, like, well, what if you have the kids put their age in there? Well, kids lie about their age all the time. I made a MySpace when I was like 10 years old, and I wasn't allowed to, but I did. And so it's just like, it's easy to get around that stuff. You just lie. So, not that I lie to people. You know, so yeah. But if you'll allow me to, you know, say one more thing. There's a lot of animosity on especially Twitter right now, with a lot of people saying, good, demonetize all these Disney YouTubers. They're just leeching off Disney anyway. Well, okay, if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. But let me counter that argument. This doesn't just affect Disney YouTubers. Okay. This affects everybody, not even just content creators. This affects just viewers. Why? Because anybody who makes anything that the FTC thinks for a brief glimpse of a moment that is kids content, they will not be able to advertise their stuff. They will not have the tools necessary to grow their channels. These people are going to be worried about fines all the time. I mean, I'm even considering shutting down my channel and my other channel. I have another channel, but nobody knows about that. But anyway, I'm considering shutting down my other channel, possibly even the channel I have in the future, not right now. And I've got friends who have channels who are also considering shutting down because it's just too much stress to deal with all this stuff. And so basically what I'm trying to say here is, if you are a YouTube viewer and you like to watch anything on YouTube, then you're going to start seeing the stuff that you like disappear in huge quantities for various reasons. Either they got shut down, they shut themselves down, or they can't be found. So this affects everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, you might not like Disney YouTubers who leech off Disney, but it's going to affect everything else you like. So that's why this matters to everybody.
Yeah. It's a very interesting topic, this is. It's almost identical if you look at it to the adpocalypse. I keep coming back to the adpocalypse that happened a few years ago. It's almost identical to that when it comes to like the regulations being so vague, the automated YouTube bots that went through running through all the videos, falsely flagging videos as not advertiser friendly, and then you just go to appeal your video. 5 seconds later, it gets overturned. Like, what was even the point of demonetizing it in the first place? It's very similar to that, except this time you can actually be fined millions of dollars if you're not careful. It is a very tricky subject. Someone said in the chat, where was it? Timothy said parents should be making the decisions on what their kids watch, not the government. That is a very, I do agree with that. I feel like we, as the content creators, should not be the ones determining whether or not kids should be watching our videos. Is that a good way to phrase it? Parents should be monitoring what their children watch nonetheless. If they happen to watch a nursery rhyme video, autoplay's turned on, and then, an hour down the road, autoplay's still playing, it suggests a video that, I don't know, isn't necessarily kid-friendly, lots of curse words, you guys know, like a Filthy Frank kind of video, stuff like that. Kid watches that, parents get angry at YouTube for recommending that video to the kids when the parents should be monitoring what their children watch on their own. It doesn't make any sense to me. Parents should be the ones to monitor what their children watch. It's just very, I don't even know what to add anymore. It's very interesting.
Yeah, there's also something else with that. So there's two things I want to mention. So one, Superstar Limo said it in the chat. Here it is. So he believes that, he says, I don't think the FTC is going to fine millions of people thousands to millions of dollars over this. YouTube/FTC will probably just tell the creators to recategorize their vids. That's true. Or at least it could be true. The thing is that I wouldn't underestimate how much the government would like to mess your life up, because it's done it before, you know. But the other thing too is, so what was I gonna say? Let's see. If I reread the comment, I might remember what I was gonna say about it. To recategorize their videos. So the other problem with this is, let's just say you're right. All they do is ask the YouTubers to recategorize their videos, which sounds like a reasonable thing. It's still a bad thing, because YouTube had put out a new terms of service agreement a while ago, which a lot of people glossed over because they didn't know that it said this and they just ignored it. And what it says is, well, to paraphrase, if YouTube doesn't find your channel commercially viable anymore, they will delete your channel. Now, what does that mean to the layman? Well, that means that, let's just say my channel, for instance, which is now marked as a 4Kids channel, on December 10th of this year, they will start changing the format of how you watch my videos. They haven't done it yet, but it is marked as a 4Kids channel. Once my channel stops being allowed to put personalized ads on the video, I will start earning a lot less money. And when that happens, YouTube will have the ability to go, hey, Alex the Historian, you know, your channel doesn't make that much money, and it costs us more money to keep your channel up. So we're going to delete your channel because it's costing more than it's making. And that's a very real thing. My channel is at risk for being deleted by YouTube just because it's not commercially viable anymore. So that is a major, scary thing. It's one thing if my channel doesn't earn money. It's another thing if my channel is just deleted. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that YouTube made an agreement with the FTC. This is another thing that only half the people who know about this subject actually know about this subject. So there is a clause in the COPPA agreement that says, you know, if content is found in violation, then the website will be held responsible. It does say that. And so a lot of people are taking that to mean, oh, well, YouTube will have to bear the brunt of the force when your content is not in compliance. No. You see, YouTube agreed to pay that fine that they paid, the $179 million fine. They paid that after making an agreement with the FTC. And the agreement says, here's the fine, and here are our terms of complying with COPPA in exchange for us no longer being held liable in the future. So that means that if my content is mislabeled and the FTC wants to fine somebody, they made an agreement that they're not going to fine YouTube anymore. They're going to fine me. So that's why this is so important. If I was on another channel, I don't know, let's just say Vimeo or something, Vimeo might be the one who is penalized. But since YouTube made this specific agreement, it is now people like me who will get directly fined. And while it's true, it's going to be very difficult to fine that many people. Think about what happens in between that. If the FTC discovers that your channel's in violation, true, it might take a whole year before they even ask you to come to court, but they'll shut down your channel in that meantime. So that whole year or 2 or 3 that you're waiting to go to court over this, your channel is finished. They're not going to let you keep making material after they found you in violation. No, they're going to shut you down, and then you're going to wait for your court date, of which you're going to have to find money to go. But yeah, so it's a no-win scenario for everybody. So yeah.
Yeah, there was one comment I wanted to address. Matt, how will the new regulations affect your live stream with the live chat feature? Well, I don't know. That's the one thing I'm not sure about. Obviously, Jeremy and I, when we make videos, we go with it into the mindset that the videos are meant for everybody. Families, teens, adults, I don't know, elderly people even. We don't go into a Historyland video or into a Journey Through Imagination video specifically making that video geared towards children. So, you'd think I could just mark my channel as not made for kids, which is what I've done. I've marked my channel as not made for kids. But I mean, I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. If YouTube comes along and thinks, oh, well, this guy's just making dumb Disney videos. Disney is obviously a household, family, kid-friendly name. Obviously, the content in the video is meant to be made for children. If they decide that, then, live chat will probably go away. Comments will go away. Monetization will go away. I got it. Third time's the charm. Monetization will go away. I could even get fined, like we said, up to $42,000 per video. So I don't know how it will affect my channel. I guess there's only one way to find out. Just hope that it doesn't affect my channel. I mean, like I said, I mark my channel as not made for children. And, we were saying earlier in the episode, we'll just say a bunch of swear words in the podcast to make it not family friendly. I mean, even if that was just a joke, by the way, saying swear words. Even if you...
yeah, that doesn't work, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you just look at this podcast just in general, I mean, sure, it's a Disney podcast. You look at the logo of the podcast, Matterhorn Mondays logo, it looks, kid-friendly. I don't know. But the content we talk about here is not something a child will be interested in. Like, just, a few episodes ago, we were talking about the quarterly earnings report for Disney, how much money they made in the past year. Do you think a kid would want to sit through an hour and a half to 2 hours, sometimes even 2.5 hours, listening to Alex and I, and Jeremy sometimes as well, talk about, like, not necessarily like politics, but like bureaucratic Disney shareholders stuff? In our minds, me and Alex and Jeremy who are making these videos, and to you, the viewers who have been with us for a while, you'd understand that, not made for kids, obviously. Kids wouldn't want to sit through a 2-hour-long podcast about, like I was saying, shareholder information, Disney bureaucratic stuff. But, it's not necessarily the content. If YouTube just, like Alex was saying, comes along, looks at the thumbnail, skims through, maybe they just skim through the intro song, just the 15-second intro of the video. They could think that, oh my gosh, this is obviously a kid's video, even though they didn't spend the time to watch the rest 2 hours of the video to actually determine that it's not made for children. So it's very... Again, like I said, just like with Adpocalypse, there's a lot of gray area. Yeah, I did read, or I guess I should note that from Josh from Resort TV One's video linked in the description below. He made a great video, by the way, detailing all this stuff. He did say that some content creators did meet with the FTC recently to discuss this, and according to them, the FTC was not aware that these new regulations would have this much of an impact on content creators like us. I feel like they just thought, oh, YouTube will just make them mark their videos as made for kids. They'll be on with it. From my understanding, they were not aware about the 70 to 80% ad revenue cut. So, they could come around, change the policies. And I'm also not 100% sure if it was the FTC themselves who wrote down these new rules for YouTube, or if it was YouTube that came up with their own way to comply with the FTC. I'm thinking it was YouTube that came up with this new, rule marking not safe for kids, made for kids. I don't think necessarily the FTC gave them these set of rules that they had to implement. I think it was YouTube that personally, sat down with Susan, whatever the CEO's name, sat down with all the executives, came up with what they thought was a good way for YouTubers to mark their content as made for kids, not made for kids, and this is what they came up with. Whether that they did that with the intention of destroying hundreds of channels is I'm not sure, but from my understanding, the FTC was not aware about all the problems that these new regulations would be having on the YouTubers. So at least if you look at it from that mindset, things could still change in the future. And I will link down below. This is the only time I would recommend you guys go to change.org, sign this petition. The only time I will recommend you guys to sign the petition on change.org. Link in the description. I believe from the time of me writing all these notes down, it had almost 300,000 signatures. So it'd be pretty cool if I've never actively promoted people to sign a petition. It'd be really cool if we could get it to 1 million signatures. But if you guys are not interested in signing change.org petitions, the FTC is accepting comments on the COPA regulations. Link to that article from the FTC's official webpage. They're taking comments from us, from the viewers, from everybody. So if you feel like going directly to the source is better than signing a petition, going through a third party like that, you can go ahead and do that. Links in the description will be for both of those.
By the way, it's really easy. I wrote a comment to the FTC. It was super simple. You just type the words that you want to say, you click 2 different buttons, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, I have it pulled up right here, you guys. It's really just type in your comments. Is that first name, last name? It's super easy. Link it in the description for this, you guys. Again, this is set to go into effect in 2020. I'm guessing the beginning of 2020, January. So there's still some time for the FTC to reconsider this because, like I said, they were not aware, from my understanding, they were not aware of all this all the trouble this would bring all the content creators on YouTube. And so there's still time for them to renegotiate all these new changes that YouTube has put into effect. There's still time for YouTube to reconsider all these changes that they put into effect. I think only once has YouTube pushed out an update that people didn't like and then pulled that update back. I can't remember what the update was off the top of my head, but only once have, us, the creators, and you, the viewers, have had the power to help change something on YouTube that they put out that we didn't like. That was a bad update. They pulled it back. If you guys remember that update, I'd love to know, but only once. We're hoping to make this the second time, you guys. But yeah, I think it's also worth noting, I guess just as a little tag at the end, YouTube is not my full-time job. I don't think it's Alex's full-time job as well. We make these videos because we have a passion for the content that we produce. I enjoy talking about Disney history. I enjoy helping others learn about Disney history. So even if these changes do go into effect, even if I do have to mark my videos as kid-friendly and my ad revenue gets cut, my comments go away, live chat goes away, all that stuff. Even if that happens, we're not going to stop making YouTube videos because it's what we love to do. I'm a video editor. I like editing videos. I like making a graphic designer, all that kind of stuff. This is the perfect job for me, even though it's not a job. This is not my full-time job. I just do this for fun. This is what I love to do. Not saying that I hate my full-time job, but this is what I love to do. So even if we do get our comments taken away, get our monetization cut, it's not like we were making that much money to begin with. So it's not really much of a well, Alex out here with the truckloads. So it's not like it's going to affect us that much, but we're not going to go anywhere. We're sticking with YouTube until, again, it's a very tricky situation. There's no other competitor big enough to help take users away from YouTube and take it to a different platform. I mean, sure, there's Vimeo, there's Dailymotion. I mean, there's Facebook. We could upload our videos to Facebook, which is probably a terrible idea. But until
just wait. FTC will get after those.
Oh yeah,
too.
That's right. Yeah, this is not just YouTube. I'm sure they're going to be getting after Vimeo, all those other places. Twitter, probably people upload videos to Twitter. We're just talking about YouTube here. This is the only stuff that's been announced so far. But we're not going to stop making videos. We're not going to stop doing the podcast, stop doing live streams. I don't even know if we will still have option to live stream if we do mark our videos as child friendly. I don't know. Like I said, a lot of gray area. Oh, well, so another option is Twitch, I guess. But yeah, we don't make these videos as our full-time job. There are a lot of people, and when I say a lot, there are a lot of people who rely solely on YouTube to put food on the table. You look at channels like, I can't think of an example right off the top of my head, like a big YouTube channel who puts a lot of effort into producing their content, who puts a lot of effort into, meticulously editing their videos to make it the best that they can be. That's their full-time job for a lot of people. And just the same with the adpocalypse, when YouTube comes in with these new regulations and these new rules, it ruins people's lives. And, I've seen comments on Twitter. Alex touched on it briefly. There was a lot of discussion on Twitter. My camera just died. A lot of discussion on Twitter. Oh my gosh, all these YouTubers are gonna have to get real jobs now. That is such boomer mindset, thinking that producing videos online for people to enjoy is not a real job when you're getting paid to do it. I was getting very heated the other night. All three of us, Jeremy, Alex, and I, were getting very heated over the discussions going on Twitter about all these DizTubers. I hate that word, DizTubers. Over all these Disney YouTubers getting their monetization cut because of this. And they're saying, oh my gosh, they're going to have to get real jobs now. Oh my gosh, these DizTubers are finally, like Alex was saying, leeching off the success of Disney. Well, how would you feel? Say your significant other works at, some job. How would you feel if your significant other gets fired from their job? I'm sure you wouldn't be laughing in their face the same way all these people are laughing at all these YouTubers who basically lost their job. If they, take an 80-70% cut on their ad revenue, that's 80 to 70% of their salary that they get paid to put food on the table, to pay their mortgage, to live, basically. And to say, oh my gosh, they're going to have to get real jobs now. That's the stupidest. I'm trying to keep it calm, you guys. That's the stupidest thing you could ever say to someone when they've put, I don't know how to phrase this. When they put a lot of work into their videos, not necessarily talking about just Alex and I, but the whole YouTube community as a whole. These YouTubers who make videos for a living put a lot of work into their videos, believe me. Mm-hmm. And to laugh in their face when they find out, oh my gosh, I think these new regulations are going to end my job. I might be jobless for a few months until I can find another job. I don't know if, it's very sad is what I'm trying to say.
The other side of the coin on that too is that's maybe not the other side of the coin, probably a bad term, but the other thing to think about in terms of that is like people think that YouTubers who do this like full time and whatever, that they have it so easy. Oh, they don't have to work it's like, it's a lot of work. I'm a business owner. I own a business. I manage that business outside of YouTube. But people don't realize how many hours I put into my channel. I put in 30 to 35 hours per week on this channel. That means that for that time period, I'm not making money at my job. I'm instead sitting here letting the money go, not entering my pocket in order to make YouTube videos. So I rely on the YouTube channel to at least support itself, because having the annual pass, which I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, you have an annual pass, you can go to Disneyland anytime you want. True, but I'm also a very busy person. So the only time I get to go to Disneyland is when I'm filming. And you can ask the people that hang out with me. They're always like, oh, why don't you put down the camera and just enjoy? It's like, sometimes I just can't, because I'm so busy filming for the channel. I don't have the time to always just enjoy myself. So really, the pass that I have is so I can do this stuff for YouTube. And that's fine. I love what I do, but to pretend that it doesn't cost money to produce what I make is silly. And it costs me time and money. Again, I could be putting that 30 hours towards my job and get paid that much money more, that much more money at my job. But I do this out of love. The least I want from my channel is so it can support itself. And then you also have to remember, for those that do this full time, I know that people are like, oh, well, their life is so easy because that's what they do for a living. It's like, well, think about it this way. Imagine you hate your job, which I'm sure like 98% of you hate your job, right? And you've worked a bunch of jobs in your life and you hate them all. You're like, I just don't fit anywhere, which that's happened to me. That's why I became a business owner. But not everyone can be a business owner. I happen to be very educated. I happen to have connections with people who can help me get to where I need to be in life. Thankfully, I thank all my friends who've helped me get where I am in life. But imagine you don't have that, which maybe you don't. It's very difficult to make your own way in life. Instead, you have to rely on these jobs, which you hate so much. And then here is this shining beacon, YouTube, a way for you to develop a business for free and make money without having to get permits and filings and all that stuff. You can designate your own hours. Granted, you still have to put in a lot of hours, but you can designate which hours, and stuff like that. And so you end up, working like 50 hours a week to produce videos. Like, remember Adam the Woo used to do the Daily Woo?
Yeah.
That took him all day to film and then the rest of his night to edit. Okay. And so, yeah, while you think he's out there having a lot of fun, he wasn't living his life. And he said that. He said, I have to stop the Daily Woo because I'm not living my life. And so that's what these people do. And the good news is that they can at least live the job that they want. But now with all these things happening, they can't do that anymore. And now look what happens. They can't get a job because they've been out of the job industry for so long. Other businesses are like, well, what did you do with your time? Oh, you made videos. Boring. We're not going to hire you. How do I know that? Well, I am an employer. I do that. I look at people and I go, what have you done from this year to this year? What were you doing? If they say that they're a YouTuber and I check them out and I see what they're doing and I go, okay, they work hard. Okay, I might hire them. But most people are not like me because they don't think YouTubers work that hard. So they're not going to hire you. And that's the problem right now, is that saying that, oh, well, now they have to work a real job. It's like, how do you know they didn't? How do you know that this is the only thing in life that works for them? And how do you know that they're even going to be able to get a job after not having one for quite a while? So it's just devastating and all around.
Yeah, again, complete boomer mentality. I throw, a meme word, but that's meme, not mean. A meme. What am I trying to say? It's a meme word, boomer, but that's really what it comes down to. There was something else I feel like I was gonna add. Yeah, again, links are in the description to the change.org petition and the FTC's website. Yeah, meme, not mean. Let's listen to a voicemail from Avery here. He said, hope you listen to my COPA rant. So let's see.
Yeah, the rules that Google put in place onto the creators, it's very vague of what's considered kids and not made for kids and what's not made for kids. Very vague, because like Disney, they should realize that there are not just kids fans of Disney, that there are adult fans of Disney. They're so out of touch. Like even the Lego community is affected. Like there are notorious YouTubers that have Lego. I'm just gonna name one of them, Just Too Good, and he could be affected because he has Lego videos. I don't think they realize that there are adult fans of Legos, aka assholes. I know it sounds like bad word, but no, it's not. It's assholes with an S. And now he's resorting to swear words. And if they mark his videos as made for kids, and then he puts a swear word into it, that's double trouble. Because then the parent could report that video, and he's done for. Like, it's hurting a lot of channels, not just Disney channels, Lego channels too. They're so out of touch. Like even World War II tanks, when bloody battles are being counted as made for kids content. That's kids content, then I don't know what isn't. It's so confusing. Like some of my videos are about Hearts of Iron 4, which is a political work simulation game, and now I don't even know whether I should mark it as for kids or not because it's confusing. It's very confusing. Like I just don't want to be sued 42K per video that could put me into serious debt. I know I won't be alone. Like they predicted millions upon millions would be on the line that people would have to pay as a result of this issue, of this court case. And the fact that they push the blame onto the creators instead of upon themselves, it's bad. It's bad. YouTube keeps going downhill. I just hope that the government doesn't do that to other websites and people move to other websites of the mail and bitch. I hope that the government doesn't follow us. It's just an example of big government. If there was small government, this wouldn't happen.
Well, thank you, Mr. Avery, for that lovely voicemail. At this point, we should just rename this segment to Avery's Mail, so Superstar Limo. Can I get a big LOL in the chat for that, you guys? Anyways. Oh, Alex wants to typing LOL. Yeah, again, like I said, links to everything will be in the description below. Someone said start a Patreon. I mean, Patreon's another interesting example of alternate sources of revenue when it comes to making YouTube videos. Sure, I mean, I have a Patreon. Link is always in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel, Patreon would be the best option, even though, again, Patreon is not necessarily, it's not the best website. I think Patreon takes a large percentage of the money people do donate for themselves.
Matt makes a good point. You see, if his channel becomes a 4Kids channel, he will no longer be legally allowed to tell people to go to his Patreon. Because that is asking, because if he's a 4Kids channel, then kids could be watching and he'd be advertising to kids to, that's not a YouTube rule. That's just a rule in general. You're not allowed kids to pay for things. That's why you always, so that is going to be another issue people will have to face.
Yeah, again, a lot of gray area, and we're going to be sure to update you guys on this, whether or not these changes do go into effect, because with the Adpocalypse, it was not as, I feel, extensive as this. There were no fines attached to it. The rules, people eventually figured out the rules when it comes to what can be monetized, what can't be monetized. It took at least 2 years, not just for the YouTube algorithm to figure itself out, to finally, figure out just from using the algorithm what is advertiser friendly, what isn't advertiser friendly. It also took YouTubers those 2 years to experiment with their videos, to figure out, oh, I'll make this video this time and see if anything in this gets flagged for not suitable for advertisers. A lot of trial and error. And with this, you can, I'm sure there will be some brave channels out there who will try to do some science experiments when it comes to making specific YouTube videos, find out which one gets flagged for made for kids, which one does not get flagged for made for kids. But again, there's that, it's that fine, that $42,000 fine that is just hovering over people's heads, that's the main, scary part of this. And again, even if people were to go out, do some science experiments of their own on their YouTube channels, it's not the same way as the adpocalypse, whereas that was all automatic. Algorithm came in, determined it was not suitable for advertisers. You'd have to go in and appeal it if you felt it was suitable. Eventually, it get overturned. It wouldn't get overturned. This, you have to either market yourself as made for kids, not made for kids. So it's not like an algorithm comes in and does it for you. You have to do it yourself. It's a very similar to the apocalypse, but again, very different from the apocalypse. And again, guys, Patreon in the description below if you're interested. Again, we're not doing this for the money, you guys. I have a full-time job that I enjoy. I do this because of the passion that I have for the Walt Disney Company, the passion I have for Walt and the legacy he left, the legacy his artists left for the world, to make the world a better place. I'm not trying to say I'm trying to make the world a better place, but that. Anyways, yeah, I have a lot of passion for it. I enjoy what I do. A lot of people say editing is the worst part of making YouTube videos. That's the best part for me. I love editing YouTube videos. I love working in Photoshop. I love working in, After Effects, Illustrator, all that kind of stuff. So this is like perfect hobby for me, making these YouTube videos. And I enjoy doing it. And, no matter what happens, we're not going anywhere. Matterhorn Mondays podcast will still be chugging strong. 1000th episode coming soon. Historyland will still be coming. This isn't putting any wrenches in any of our plans for Memory Voyage, Journey Through Animation, all those new series we have planned, which Journey Through Animation, you guys, first episode coming the 1st of December. And then Memory Voyage, first episode of that, coming December or January 1st, the new year. So stay tuned to the channel for that. We're very excited to showcase that to you guys. But anyways, Alex, do you have any closing thoughts you'd like to say before we end the show?
Yes. So I will also still be creating content for as long as I possibly can. And hopefully everything turns out well so I can keep doing it for as long as I can. And a lot of people are probably wondering, like, well, Alex, don't you think you're overreacting? Don't you think that maybe your channel isn't a for kids channel? Well, I think in the end, I just want to tell people that I'd rather play it safe than sorry, because I can't afford to be sorry.
Mm-hmm. I just water in my mouth when you finished. Yeah, I mean, I was taking a full slug of water there. I didn't expect you to finish so early, but that's what she said. Not family friendly, you guys. But anyways, yeah, what Alex said. We're gonna be still making videos for you guys. The podcast will still be going strong. I think that's it. Is that it, Mr. Alex?
That's it. Now let's end the show because I have to pee.
I'm very hungry, you guys. The Cardinals lost, so I need to go cry in my bed for a bit. So, yeah, thank you all for coming to this lovely episode of Matterhorn Mondays. Hopefully next week, Jeremy said he'd be free next Saturday. So hopefully next week, Jeremy will be back on the show. We'll be talking more about Disney Plus, getting his opinions on everything, as well as talking about what the future Disney Plus has for the future of the Walt Disney Company in general. So thank you all to everybody for coming out today. I believe there was a super chat. I couldn't find it. So if you donated to the stream and I missed it, 1,000 apologies. I'll find I didn't get an email or anything if there was a super chat. I'll find it. I'll send me your phone number. I'll call you. I'll wish you a big thank you personally. So to whoever did that, thank you. And yeah, I think that's going to wrap up this week's episode. You guys know the drill. Links to all the articles we talk about will be in the description as well as links to Alex's channel, links to Alex's social medias, and my social medias as well will be in there. As well, you guys know the voicemail number. I feel like I should repeat that as well. 575-386-5814 if you'd like to voice your opinions on any of the new YouTube changes happening. Mishicat donated $3 Thank you, Mishy Cat. We appreciate you. She's come to almost every one of our streams for the past few months. We appreciate Mishy Cat very much. We appreciate everybody here very much as well, so thank you very much. Imagine getting a phone call by Matt. Heart eyes, bruh. Let's just end the stream, you guys. Thank you, Superstar Limo. Anyways, yeah, you guys know. Oh, he did the /S. Oh my gosh, I got played, you guys. Anyways, information on the meetup as well will be in the description, alexthehistorian.com. And that wraps it up. Thank you guys for coming. And as always, have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.